7, and we are interviewing someone who is bringing 7 years of darkness.
Black is like the brightest day. Where are the heroes? As soon as they get here, everything will be alright. I need a hero. Someone superhuman who can come and save my life. Crisis after crisis.
What is good, Council of Comics? Welcome to a new edition of New Keys and Hot Comics of the Week, where we go over all the new keys and hot comics that are coming out this Wednesday for a new comic book day. This is episode number 37, May 8th, 2023. But before we start, please, I need you to hit that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. Hit that like button if you're on Facebook. Jump on over to the YouTubes. And remember, we have our 500 subscriber video that is on our channel currently. So if you want to be entered into our 500 subscriber contest, you must do 3 things. You must subscribe to the channel. You have to go find that video, comment on that video, and like that video, and you will become eligible to win one of 3 amazing prizes. One is a Heroes in Crisis set 1 through 9. The second is a head sketch drawn by our very own green shirt guy, aka Ronaldo. And the first place prize is a CGC 9.8 graded comic that we will reveal later. So remember to go hit that subscribe button, do all that to be entered. Now, I'd like to introduce my loyal and fellow council, Cliff, Phil, green shirt guy, and our special guest, Joe. Joe, introduce yourself.
I'm Joe Schmalke, writer, artist, former publisher.
Great to have you on here, Joe. Joe is bringing this little bad boy right here. This nice little piece that we're going to talk about.
I got the better
and
cover.
green shirt guy's got a special edition
I got the
over
better
there.
cover. I have that one too, but I got the better cover.
Oh, you got this one too, huh? Just
I got
want to
that
rub
one
it and
too.
smudge it.
That's my. This one is the one I keep nice and pretty, and I don't take out. And the red one is the one I go back to read whenever I want.
I have the red one. Actually, I think I have the beige one too.
Yeah, I think we all got one because this was our council key of the week
It was.
when it came
Yeah.
out.
Nice.
And then it didn't come out, and then the next week
And
it
then
came out.
it didn't come the week we thought it was coming. It came
Yeah.
out 3 weeks later. And we're like, ah!
It was funny. Yeah, I was like, it's this week. Oh no, it's not this week. Yeah.
It's one of these things. The book was sitting at Diamond and Lunar for like 3 weeks or something, not moving.
Really?
I have no control over that kind of stuff, and neither does the publisher. So they
Yeah.
just decide to put it out when they feel like. I think half of the Lunar orders went out before the Diamond ones. Then all the Diamond ones went out, and half the Lunar orders are still like waiting to go out. So
That's great. So there's first print still out there then, because it's on third print now, right?
yeah, FOC for third print just closed last night.
Woo.
There's a couple of like places that are owed first prints. There was some significant damages en route to Lunar from the dot. So the books are printed by CEX, and in transit from their warehouse to Lunar, they flipped the entire pallet upside down and shipped it
Wow.
that way. So
Oh, shit.
yeah.
Wow.
So there, I believe there are supposed to be some either replacements or they're getting, like extra third printings or something. I don't know because I'm not the publisher anymore of this stuff. So I leave that in the hands of the people that picked it up. So
Well, hey,
But-
I'm glad I was able to get a copy. Everybody here is glad because it
Yeah.
was pretty good read.
yeah, it's
Um,
crazy when you find out that like there's just none left of something. So whatever first printings are out there. It's one of my lower print runs for the last couple of years for some reason. I think it was partially because I had transferred from Black Caravan to CEX. They're a relatively newer company. Possibly people just were missing it on their order forms or whatever. But yeah, it sold out like before it hit stands. Went to second printings only through Lunar, and it sold out there. Now it's in third printing, and that's filled. I guess they're still open, so like they can allocate some of the orders, and they wait till the last minute to print this one. So
Excellent. Someone
yeah,
bring
I'm
up.
gonna get rid of this video thing. My web guy, I gotta talk to him about that. I had a video up, it's not there anymore. I don't know.
It's all good. You can show all your other stuff you got going on here.
So
So
that
what-
Creep Show picture, that one,
Yeah.
that's originally my concept for Creep Show number 1. And
Nice.
Greg Nicotero was like, it's cool, but it looks too much like the original
Mm.
80s comic. So I had to redo the whole thing. I ended up making like a bootleg shirt of it. But there you go.
I'd like a bootleg shirt of that.
Yeah, I do bootleg shirts once a month. I let people know a day ahead of time, and then I drop it for 24 hours. People can buy it, and then I close it down.
Nice.
So I don't get sued.
Well, I want to read a little bit of something on your website. It says Joseph Schmalke is a comics creator, writer, and illustrator residing in Westbrook, Maine. Joe is the artist and writer on several comic book titles, including We Don't Kill Spiders, One Last Trick, 7 Years in Darkness, The Infernal Pact, Cherry Blackbird, Phantom Star Killer, which he is the co-writer on, and The Electric Black, which he's also the co-writer and artist, and Murder Hobo, created and written by.
Yes.
So that's pretty cool, man.
Thanks.
It's, no doubt. It says you've done covers for Image, Boom Studios, Vault Comics, Mad Cave. Shout out to Mad Cave because we saw them at Alternicon too. Behemoths, Sumerian Comics, Source Point Press, and IDW.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And then I do T-shirts for Marvel Entertainment, not Marvel Comics. I work for the Hollywood part of them.
Gotcha. Okay.
So the latest thing I did for them was Werewolf by Night.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Did a Morbius shirt. That movie was so awesome. I never even saw it, but I did a shirt for it. And then
I
I
see
did,
what you
I
did
did
there.
a Spider-Man shirt. I did a Venom and Carnage shirt. So all that stuff is out there, and every once in a while there'll be some kid from Hot Topic wearing it. So that's kind of cool. It's like full circle. I used to work there when I was a teenager, and now I'm like, oh, now I make T-shirts for Hot Topic.
Nice.
Nice.
So I told the council that I'd like at least one question from everyone. So we'll go around the mic. And from this list, I'm seeing Cliff.
Oh, good. All right. So there's so many things that you laid out here, and I'm like such a mystery hungry person, right? So like immediately we're invested in Matthew. So I feel like he's going to be our focal point for this story.
Oh,
Right?
for 7 years. Yeah.
And,
Okay,
but,
go ahead.
but the girl, right? Are we gonna learn things like, we don't know what family she came from, all that's a mystery because she snapped her necklace, which like binds you to a spirit, right? So like, is that part of the mystery that's going to unfold in the experience that we're watching, or is it just like a mystery within a mystery of the experience?
So the girl that dies at the beginning, Matilda, she all these kids have names and backgrounds, and I've written that, but I'm not telling anybody what those are. I have all 7 years planned out. I know how this book ends already, because that's sort of what you have to do if you're going to do something like this. And for anybody that doesn't know anything about this particular project, it's a 7-year-long project. I'm doing 4 issues every year, at least 4 issues every year for the next 7 years. And all the kids start at age 11. It's like a battle royale with black magic. So they age up, all the surviving kids age up every year. So next year, they'll be 12, so on and so forth, all the way until the 7th year. So when I'm doing that, I have to build all these characters because sometimes there's moments, even though I know what all the key points are. And every year, one of the cooler things that you can do when you're orchestrating a world like this is you can reintroduce backstories of characters that might have passed away too quick and you didn't see much about them. For instance, Roland, the old guy at the beginning, you're going to find out more about him at some point. So probably around year 3. But so each one of these kids, even if they die and you don't know much about them, you probably will figure out a little bit more about each and every one of them. Matthew, yes, is the focal point of year 1, but he's not the focal point of year 2.
Interesting. Very interesting. Phil. But first, before you do your question, Empire Comics. Shout out to Angel. He says, "What's up, Council of Comics? What's good, Angel? Good to have you on here."
We need a better acronym.
We
Yeah.
should have TCOC.
Yeah,
Phil. You're up.
Okay. Yeah, so my question, it's kind of a really like a simple question, but what has been like your favorite project that you've done or worked on?
Probably We Don't Kill Spiders so far, just because I was super attached to it when I did it. I didn't think it was going to work out. I didn't know if people were going to be into it at all. And it ended up being the top selling thing I've ever created.
Mm.
So that was pretty cool. And then it would be this project I'm working on now. You know, I feel very attached to these particular projects. Cherry Blackbird, Infernal Pact, those were me like dabbling into this sort of grindhouse exploitation world, which I like doing, but not as much as I like doing these current books that I've been doing.
Oh, pretty cool. Green shirt guy. Yeah. Well, no. Yeah, no. We save you for last. Green shirt.
Okay.
Guy. Save you for
Nice.
last. Angel's
I
laughing out there.
cut out for a second because I couldn't hear any sounds. I bounced out and came back. I think you were talking about year to year. Is the how many issues is it going to be for each year? Did I miss that part?
4, but this year there's going to be a 5th issue,
Okay.
which I'm drawing right now, and it's called the Shamir Worm. So
Okay.
year 1 is all collected into 4 issues, but there might be spin-offs or one-shots or whatever, and this is going to be a one-off, and it takes place between issues 3 and 4.
Okay.
And it doesn't disrupt the story. Like, you don't have to ever read this one shot to really understand what's going on in the main story.
Gotcha. Okay.
But it's really fun. So
I've been enjoying it so far.
yeah.
Excellent. All right. So my question is, when I was going through the book, I love the colors in your book,
Mhm.
and I think you're very based. Like, it's black, red, and yellow. I'm guessing are the main ones, and they're variations of that. Like, I also like to paint in color. Like, what when you sat down, you're like, these are the colors that I want to use. Why did you come to that conclusion?
Basically, I looked at 80s arcade cabinets and I picked out the ones that had like color combos that I really dug. Where it starts, I like mint to bright pink and oranges and stuff like. I started playing around with risograph printing. Do you know what that is?
No, what is that?
You want to know? All right.
Yeah.
So back in like the 60s, before there was the modern day Xerox machines, there used to be these risographs, and you would hand mix the pigments in it, and you would it's almost like a printmaking device, but it does it like a Xerox machine. It's very specialized, but you can achieve these bright pinks and oranges and greens and stuff that you can't get in modern printing at all. And so in my Patreon, like everybody got these risographs of 7 Years in Darkness ash cans. I always do it for ash cans for some reason, but it really drove me into further exploring minimalist color with really bright and eye-catching colors, because I've found that, like, you know, people just gravitate towards that. Their eyes can't look away from something that's that strong. So that's part of it. It's a psychological thing, right? So I'm like, oh, does this look appealing to my eye? And you know, whenever I look at these 80s neon colors, that's sort of where my eye always gets driven. So I decided to start dabbling in that. And I'm really not that great of a colorist. It works well for what I do for my work, but coloring other people's works, it's sometimes a challenge. But like recently, I just did a cover for Boom Studios. They contacted me directly. They told me exactly what to do. They were like, hey, we really like your minimalist palettes. We want this character in this position using your crazy like neon colors. And I was like, done. And so I did a cover for Seasons Have Teeth for them, and it's.
I like that new book.
I saw that.
Yeah.
But they knew exactly like what my aesthetic is about, which I appreciated. They didn't ask me to do something stupid, and so yeah, I hate drawing like boring subject matter, and instead I got to draw like basically Swamp Thing, you know, like a kaiju of a giant monster, which was awesome. So
I
think you put that on Instagram a couple days ago, right? So you scroll.
Yeah, it's not too far down there. Let's see. Yeah. I've been posting a lot. The other thing is I get hired to do a lot of variants, and I push my own book quite a bit. There it is.
There it is. Yeah, I saw that one the other day.
Yeah, so I have this like minimalist style to my covers where I do this. There's nothing in the background. It's just an eye-catching color. And then foreground is usually very minimalist, but it like balances out.
Oh, that was number one. I missed that variant.
It's still available on. You can only buy it through Boom though.
Oh, okay.
Website.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get that.
It's one of their exclusives. I hear that they do this. You know, they print them up. They put it on their site, and then whatever they have left over by the time San Diego rolls around, they like bring it out there.
All right, cool. Green shirt guy.
So my question,
up.
I guess, is an art question, because not that the other guys in here aren't art centric as well, but I will stay with a book longer, even if I don't like the story based on the art. And I love your style. It's very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not, I don't want to say it's very gritty. And it's almost like each line is completely deliberate. There's no wasted lines. So when you're creating stuff, because you're a writer as well, do you create the image for the characters first, or do you write and then go, I think this is what I want it to look like?
I always write first, and then I futz around for a little bit. Like today, I do commission other artists to work on this book in particular. I had like Bill Sienkiewicz do issue 1. I had Ben Temple-Smith do an issue 2 cover. Now I've got Jason Sean Alexander doing a cover for issue 1, year 2.
Okay.
So I knew what the character was going to be that I wanted on the cover, but I hadn't really showed that character that much. So I had to do like a quick mock-up of, what I thought they would look like. And I was just like, go wild with it, It gave him some stuff that I'm not going to talk about here as far as like subject matter to rotate around with it. But yeah, it's always writing first and then it's character second. Because the other thing is when I write, I'm not a typical like Marvel. I don't do the Marvel method. I think that's incredibly sloppy and lazy.
Mhm.
So if anybody likes it, I think it sucks and I don't know. But
I need to question that. Are we talking about the Marvel method where it's just like,
for 5 pages, draw like a battle scene between these two people.
and then we'll just stick the words in where we feel it's needed?
Oh no.
Yeah.
The reason I bring it up is because George Perez, may he rest in peace, insisted on using the Marvel method when doing Crisis, or what was it? Final Crisis, Legion of Three Worlds, right? Which I did enjoy, but mostly because I was so excited for his artwork drawing all these different Legion characters. But after reading it, when I found out that he's like, yeah, I just drew the pages and didn't just had Jeff write the story, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I think it's incredibly lazy and sloppy and like basically, yeah, you're buying art, which is cool. That's part of the medium. But I think the things that stand the test of time, the things that people really gravitate towards, are story driven. Art, sure, it's great to look at, and we all have like our favorite books to like pull out and like just reference for, oh, this is a great battle scene, or this is really beautiful. But at the end of the day, I like the stories better. So I can actually deal with crappy art as long as the story's good. The two don't usually typically go hand in hand, though, I've found.
I think we have some fine exceptions where there's good art, there's good story. Usually there's a lot of lead time to those projects where I see a tremendous difference. I have not been able to shut up for months by how upset I am with Dark Crisis, which had gorgeous artwork and awful storytelling, and like it almost made me quit comic books.
Really can like put a damper on things, right?
It really did. And now that same writer has 2 comics out now that I'm really enjoying, and I just have to keep telling myself it's not his fault. It's an industry. There are other things that forces at work. Let me just enjoy what he's working on now.
Yeah. So I do work with other artists, and since I am an artist, so far the feedback I've gotten has been really good, really positive, because I lay things out the way that I envision them. I'm not like a drill sergeant with the artists. I'm not like, hey, you have to do it exactly this way. I'm like, if you can figure out a way to tell this moment better, because we're in a show don't tell industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I have dialogue placeholders, but if like they draw something that changes like sort of the mood and I like the way that looks, yeah, I'll change the dialogue to match it. But there are like critical moments. I was working on a book with another guy. And it was like I was writing this script over here. He drew whatever the hell he wanted. It just didn't work. So I had to kick that guy aside because it's like you can't follow simple instructions, man. You have freedom, but there's only so much freedom you're getting.
Yeah. All right. Before we stop the interview portion of it,
Well, he's also working with one of our local friends, Ryan Brown, on Murder Hobo.
That's right.
yeah.
So the guy I was working with before, he was the one who couldn't follow directions.
Well, there you go.
Ryan is an absolute powerhouse. We've been working together for, I guess it's been like 2 years now. He is the partner of Murder Hobo. He is the artist of Murder Hobo. He basically told me, he was like, listen, you got to stop writing so much talking head stuff. I want to draw like mayhem and like murder and and I was like, all right, I'm gonna give you a couple double page spreads here where it's just like battle scenes. Will that make you happy? He's like, yes.
There you go.
Give me murder.
And I mean, this isn't a book that's like, you know, it's not going to be winning, and I don't think it's going to be winning any Eisners or anything for, you know, for moving storytelling or something. It's raunchy, it's gross, it's supposed to be offensive a little bit, and I always, like, people have compared it to Rick and Morty, and I'm like, Rick and Morty is way more intelligent than this book. But, it's fun, you know. If you like the whole role playing aspect of, you know, if you're into Dungeons and Dragons and Fallout and all this other, you know, all this other crazy stuff that's out there for role playing games, I'm a fan of that stuff. So it's a love letter to it. It makes fun of it. It's self aware. The characters are like the worst people you could possibly have in your adventuring party. They're all selfish, drug addicted, drunk, sex addicted. They're just terrible, and they'll steal your and give you herpes. So
Go crazy. Well, before we stop the interview portion of the part, real quick, do you want to promote anything now?
I've got my new project here, which we have on the screen, 7 Years in Darkness. Issue 3 just got done soliciting. Issue 4 is about to solicit. Hopefully you can find copies in your local comic book store. I do have a Patreon. Through my Patreon, you do get a quarterly box. I have a special deal with my publisher, where actually my patrons have all read up to issue 3 at this point, because it was mailed to them back, like, at the beginning of the year. Issue 4 I'm printing now, and it will be shipped out to my patrons within the next week or two. So, you know, you can beat everybody else to getting the full story ahead of time. I only print a limited amount of these things, and I've got some cool tiers in there with live art and all this other stuff, live prints. So, and you get a discount on my store, which only opens one weekend every month. It's all dependent on when my office manager, Tia, can show up and pack and ship stuff. So, yeah, it's a cool thing to join.
All right, cool. And you guys can go check out josephschmalke.com. It's got the website where you can become the Patreon, and it has all that. You can also go check out his Instagram, like and follow all his stuff, because it's fabulous. It's phenomenal. Thank you,
and I've got like a bunch of variants coming up for World Tree. I've got my first variant. It's not attached to any store. It's just mine. So all my Patreon backers are getting it in their boxes, and then whatever's left over, I will be allocating certain smaller packages to some retailers, but there won't be a ton of them out there outside of what I have. So, and then I'm doing a special event signing at Awesome Con in June for Something is Killing the Children. It's a special event.
Nice.
Very nice.
So, they've started teasing it, but I think it's safe to say that, like, you can probably guess what it is. They're reprinting issue 1, and they've done like black and white, you know, the cover inks for all the original number 1s. So mine is coming out there, the issue 1 of Something is Killing the Children.
Excellent. Well, we want to thank you for coming on. I know you said you're going to stick around, so just let us know if you have to leave. Just be like, hey guys, I'm out. And we'll be like, all right, peace. And you can leave anytime you want. We want to thank you for coming on, man. You have a great book. You're very talented. And we really appreciate you coming on the show.
And if you ever want to come back, just let me know, and I'll get you the information to come back in.
Awesome.
Definitely. Excellent. So, let's get